Guys, this is Ben with No Accent Callers here, and today we're going to be going over the $200,000 a month assignment fee funnel that pretty much anybody could run. Here we have the typical wholesaler funnel, and the biggest mistake that most people make in this business is they think this is a real estate business when we need to be thinking of it like a marketing and a sales business. We need leads coming in, we got to get those properties under contract, which is sales, and then we need to move it, which is fulfillment. Marketing, sales, fulfillment. Think of it like a marketing business and you will never worry about money ever again. I'm sure you guys are wondering, what is the $200,000 a month assignment fee funnel? And it is this right here. It's cold calling. Limited deal funnel right here. We see that there's a million different ways for you to market within this space. You have traditional, which is billboards, TV ads, radio. You have paid traffic, which is PPC and PPL. You have your JVs, your referrals. You have your cold outreach, and you have your organic. Why do we focus on cold calling? Because you're able to get the most amount of leads in at the lowest cost per lead, while pretty much also delegating everything out. A good cold calling campaign is this pyramid right here. At the bottom, the most important, which is your foundation, you have data. Does not matter how good your agents are, does not matter how many dials you make. If you are calling bad data, if you're calling in the wrong market, if you're calling broken numbers, doesn't matter how good everything else is, you're gonna have a bad campaign. Next, you have the calling system. Someone making 10 dials a day versus 10,000 dials a day. The person with way more volume is going to get way more leads, but then you need to be worried about your DIDs being flagged, your wait time, as well as your drop rate. And then finally, you have the skills and the accents of the caller. So we're going to be going over all this stuff today. So the requirements in order to run this funnel is you need 15 agents who are dialing for 4 hours a day. You're going to be needing 225,000 records pulled and skip traced every single month. You're going to need 7 dialer licenses. You're going to need a quality manager. You're going to need a team leader. And that overall cost is $15,490. So if you thought this was going to be free, if you thought this wasn't going to require money, I don't know what the heck you were thinking, because in the business, you get in what you put out. It requires marketing dollars to be able to get people in order to make the dials, in order for you to get leads, close deals, and make more money. As you can see, the requirements in order to run this funnel, you need to cover this whole entire pyramid. So let's start with data. The biggest mistake that one can make is cheaping out. Calling a list from 5 years ago, going to some random Indian VA on Fiverr for $1 an hour to go scrape from True People Search. You want to pay the data platforms who do this for a living, who hire data scientists for millions of dollars a year to get you the best possible data. Next, you have the phone and the dialing system. If you want a full in-depth video on how to maximize your dialer system, check out this other video on my channel, why your cold calling team isn't getting you leads. It's not what you think. This is a whole 15-minute video because the whole dialing system, it's very, very complex. You have the hiring and the training of the caller. So you want to be taking in a lot of applicants. You want to be getting rid of all of these. You want to be training them up, blah, 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 one-on-one training. Once again, I have another YouTube video going over how to get the best real estate cold calling VAs, which goes over our hiring funnel and our training system, because you don't want to just put garbage agents on the phone. The easiest way to mess up there is go to Upwork, go to Fiverr, go hire some Filipino for $2 an hour who only has customer support experience and they don't know real estate, they don't have cold calling. Throw them on the phones and expect them to be successful. So typically for one agent who is dialing for 4 hours a day, 22 work days in a month, expect them to get anywhere between 25 to 30 leads a month, but we're going to do it on the low end. So you have 25 leads per agent times 15 agents. That's 375 total leads right there. So when you do 375 total leads and you divide that by this right here, 15,490, we're going to have $41.30 cost per lead. So if we assume that we have a standard 25 to 1 lead to contract rate, that's going to be 15 contracts right there. And you have a dispo rate of 65, that's 10 moved deals. You have an average assignment fee of $20,000. 20,000 times 10 is 200,000 in total revenue, which is a 12.9x return on your investment. It's a $1,032.50 cost per contract. And let's assume we pay our acquisition reps 25% of the deal. It's going to be $5K right there. So our gross profit per contract is $13,967.5. So when you multiply that by 10, out of that 200,000 in assignment fees, 140,000 is profit. At the end of the day, all of this is just funnel math. If it was as easy as just hiring 15 VAs, a team lead, a quality manager, getting your data dialer, everything up and going, and printing $140,000, everybody would do it. But real business is within the optimizations of your funnel. So this is why it's very important that we need to be tracking all of our metrics. Use this scorecard right here to pretty much track all of our metrics on a weekly basis. So we have marketing spend, leads generated, cost per lead, how many leads we contacted, qualified leads, scheduled appointments, appointments completed, offers made, contract sent, lead to contact rate, contact to qualified rate, qualified to appointment rate, appointment show rate, appointment to offer rate, lead to contract ratio, contract signs, active deals in dispo, deals closed, assignment fees collected, our contract to close ratio, our average assignment fee, cost per contract, cost per closed deal, and our return on our investment right there. The reason we track these numbers on a weekly basis is because they're going to fluctuate. One week your cost per lead might be $90.25. Next week it might be $180. The next week after that it could be $70. So when we look at our output, which is obviously going to be revenue and profit, each one of these inputs right here tells a story, is part of the math function of which gets us to our desired result. And when you have everything tracked on a weekly basis, you're going to be able to see which KPIs are at standard, above standard, but you're also going to see the ones that are below standard. And that's what we spend our time fixing and optimizing. Because, for example, if we were getting, 10 contracts per month and we had a lead to contract ratio of 80-1, we would not focus on getting more leads. We would actually focus on sales of how can we be more efficient with our current leads. Do we need better speed to lead? Do we need to have a lead manager work the pipeline? And this continuous optimization over our funnel, over our metrics, is how we're able to continually grow the business, because business is just a function of math. And once you have your numbers dialed in, it's just adding more inputs to the fire. Because hypothetically, in a perfect world, we have our KPIs. If we double our main input, which is marketing dollars and the amount of leads, everything else should double. But as you scale, things break. You need to hire more people. You're going to get diminishing returns in terms of margins, but it's just going to be an overall bigger pie. So you might have a smaller percentage, but you just make more money. And that's pretty much how you could start building your funnel to make $200,000 per month. It's the same for PPC. It's the same for direct mail. But once again, we focus on cold calling because you're able to get the most amount of leads in at the lowest cost per lead. And it's just volume. It's just volume. It's just volume. We're going out there. We're playing offense. We're knocking on doors digitally, and we're closing deals.